Hello, this is Gio, and look at my recent purchase. Fisher-Price record player. And it works pretty well, except it does have a little bit of a vibration, and it tends to slow down and speed up a little bit. Well, I'm hoping that when I open it up, it will, and kind of clean it out and see if there's anything wrong inside, I can get this working perfectly. And I'll show you how to do that today. So the first step is just to take out 6 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is from the back of it. The only problem is, if you can zoom in, it is a tri-bit screw. Maybe if you are lucky enough and purchased one that had already been opened, maybe they replaced it with standard screws. And these are almost impossible to find, these kind of screwdrivers. The typical Nintendo screwdrivers, tri-bit screwdrivers, don't work because they tend to be high in the center. And so I sort of made a homemade version with a hex wrench right here. And you can kind of see if that it's lower in the center, so the screw is higher in the center. And so this hopefully will do the trick in getting these things open. Okay, so my little homemade screwdriver worked, and I got all 6 screws out. One of the things is the center screws actually hold 2 things, not only the outer case, but also this inner compartment where you could remove these cables. Let's get rid of this first. There you go, and it just comes out like that. Actually, it looks like I didn't even have to remove these inner ones. It wasn't opening up when I initially took these screws off. But okay, so lesson learned, you don't actually have to remove those inner ones to remove this outer casing. Actually, you do, because you have to unhook this cord from that one plate, so this whole thing will slip out. Let me get 2 hands here. And here you go, the back of the case, and this is the inside of the wonderful Fisher-Price record player. So it's pretty simple. You got a speaker, you got, this is the volume control, this is the speed control where you get the 45s or the 35s. I don't really want to, that's going to have to open that up to figure out which way it goes. And here's the motor. And we'll look around here and see what could possibly be the concern here. Okay, so I took off the top, plugged it in, and just to test her out, right now it's playing on the 33 level. It seems to be doing okay. Everything's kind of working. I didn't see any obvious issues in the middle. I think I'm going to take, you can see where the phonograph plate spins. I think I'm going to take this little pin out and remove the turntable itself and see if there's anything gumming up that. So I unplugged it, making sure that the electricity is off, and so I'm just going to take some needle nose pliers and see if I can get this little pin, slips right off. And then I think the turntable should pop right off. There you go. Just going to kind of carefully turn it over and examine what the other side looks like. And this is what you have. Okay, so this is underneath the turntable plate itself. The turntable goes like this, and what you see here is little kind of like a bar here. Well, that spins from the motor, and this round disc here, it's rubber on one side. When it's running, it attaches to this little bar, and the other side attaches to this side of the wheel, causing the wheel to spin. Now, I did plug it in. Now, the first thing I noticed is you do see this kind of black residue here. Well, that's coming from this rubber, and I could already tell that this rubber is a little worn. And so let's turn it on. I did plug it back in, and let's turn to the 33. It is moving. It's there's a little bit of vibration there, but I touch it just slightly, and it pretty much stops. I touch it. This still spins. well, that could be a significant issue. You're not getting a good enough contact, and that's probably, as this warms up, it causes the record to slow down. Let's go to the 45, and it goes faster. It actually lowered it to a fatter part of this little bar here, which pretty much times it. Now this one, it's a little bit better. It's kind of gripping a little bit better. So that one's not as much of an issue. So let's see what we could possibly do to help improve this. Okay, unplugging it. I'm examining this little rubber component, and I think I could probably just slip this off. Get my hand in. We'll see if this can actually be removed. If it can, I don't think I'll be able to replace it. I mean, like order a Fisher-Price new gasket or whatever. But I might be able to go to a hardware store and look in the plumbing section and try to find an O-ring that's about this size that might be able to work. So I'm being very careful so I don't break the plastic part, which I'm not quite sure how to get this wheel off. But this does seem like it is slipping off. There you go. This looks like a plumbing part, so I'm going to go to the hardware store and see what I could find. Alright, so I went to the hardware store, and of course I didn't find anything this perfect in terms of size. I did find these bath chute gaskets, which the inside diameter is perfect, but the outside diameter, of course, is wider. And so I'm going to use a little blade to cut around this as best I can. Now, I did get two of them just in case I screwed up the first. So I'll give this a shot. And now, one of the things I'm doing is, because this has been worn down, the original one's been worn down, I'm going to have to cut the new one just slightly larger, just a little bit. I don't want to get too much, but maybe a 1/16 of an inch perhaps. And the width of these things is almost perfect. This one's a little bit wider, but it should work fine. So I'm going to give this a shot, trace over it. Actually, I might use this as almost a template to carve around there, but we'll see. We'll give this a shot and see what we come up with. Okay, so I'm using this as a bit of a template. It's just slightly, the base of this is just slightly larger than the original, and I'm just going to kind of use the blade to just lightly score it for now, and then I will go deeper. If I go too deep, I'm afraid that it might shift on me. It's a little rough in places, but let's just see what the final product looks like. Yeah, I think I'll need a little trimming, but we'll give this a shot and see what happens. So we'll trim it up a little bit here and there, and then try to fit it into the record player. Okay, we'll do this very carefully. Not wanting, it fits okay width-wise. We'll just work it in. Okay, it's in. It's a little, it's there. Good, good. We'll go ahead and plug it in and see what happens. Okay, it's plugged in, and we're just gonna put it to a 33. Looks a little tight. I think we need to cut this a little bit thinner. Let's try the 45 real quick. That's not even moving. Okay, we'll try it again. Okay, so I actually used my little Dremel sander to kind of sand the edges. It worked fine, and kind of did some fine detail and made it just barely larger than the original. And so we'll go ahead and try this one out. If you don't succeed the first time, try again. Let's see if you can see that, and we'll turn on. Oh, this time it seems to work. It seems to be a little stiffer than the original. That seems to work. Let's put the turntable on and see what happens. Just loosely, and the pin's not in here. I'm going to keep it straight up like this and see what happens. Well, it's working. It seems to be getting a fair amount of resistance. I push down and it doesn't seem to slow down that much. Also at the 45 speed. I think this will work. There's a little bit of vibration in between, but and then it goes away, but it seems to be working better than it was anyway. We'll go ahead and put this thing together and play some records. So as I was putting this back together again, I did find another problem. So this switch, which is attached to this arm that moves around, broke off. Apparently there was a little connector here and here, and the last one just sort of popped off. So I'm going to try to glue that back in. Normally I like to use things like JB Weld. It works really good. I can't seem to find any around the house, so I'm just going to use some good old super glue for now, see if that works. If it breaks off, then I'll go buy some JB Weld and tack it on really well. So I'll do that right now. Okay, we went ahead and put it back together and put in a little record here. This is the Empire Strike Back. It comes with a little storybook you can follow, but it's pretty appropriate for the kids' phonograph. So let's go ahead and turn it on. There you go, it seems to be running okay. The vibration you're hearing is kind of associated with this door, so I don't know if that can really be fixed. It's just sort of a vibration generated from the door. But let's go ahead and start the record and see what it sounds like. Now I didn't really change or clean off the needle cartridge yet, but I'll do that later. Let it get started.
Darth Vader knew he could catch Luke in a deadly trap if he used them. Han and Leia. From all over the galaxy, Vader summoned bounty hunters. I'm offering a generous reward for finding Solo and the princess. After I have Skywalker, you may have Solo. I'm told he has a handsome price on his head. This could be a very profitable.
Well, it seems like it works really good. I think it's working better than it did before. It doesn't really have fluctuations in the speed at all. And so if you have one of these 1978-ish Fisher-Price record players and it doesn't work all that well, maybe just try to open it up, maybe make your own little screwdriver bit there, open it up, see if you can fiddle around and see exactly what's going on. That's one of the big things about how-to is just don't be afraid to open things up and try to fix things. So I hope this helped you out. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.